Welcome to this lesson on the importance of creating buy-in within your F&B business to maximize the success of a menu. Whether you're here to tick a box and just get a couple dishes on the menu, or whether you're developing more substantial changes, and also whether you're a small independent restaurant or part of a large organization, buy-in is important. It's the amount of buy-in that may vary in your situation. As an example, when I was developing a sustainability excursion featuring a plant-based menu, one of the first things we did was have a staff meeting that talked about the reasons it would benefit them financially by expanding their potential consumer base. This was an eco-resort, so we also talked about the reasons why plant-based food would help them embody sustainability more genuinely. Through this conversation, they really got on board and actually ended up going well above and beyond what I was expecting, all because they had found their why. So as you set down this path, you'll avoid creating resistance to change and create allies within your organization by finding your business's why early on and communicating that. The first is obviously to boost profits. Here's an example of a canteen whose target market is millennials and Generation Z, and how bringing that in boosted sales. It's quite obvious why. The flexitarians and the plant-based people weren't buying the meal plans so they could buy the plant-based food they wanted outside campus. Thus, they filled that gap and boosted their profits. And of course, that benefits everyone in your business by ensuring you stay open and people keep their jobs. The second one is company values. Now, for some of you, this may be optional, but I believe that having a reason beyond profit adds more motivation and creates a sense of doing something positive. Environmental sustainability is a major reason now for meat reduction, especially among corporates. If you want to dig deeper into understanding why, I've included a couple links below this video. For others, it could be they want to offer healthier options because you're concerned about the growth of lifestyle diseases like obesity or type 2 diabetes, or the COVID-19 pandemic has created awareness about how livestock intensification increases the risk of future pandemics. So it could be your company cares about animal welfare and wants to reduce the amount of factory farm meat served. Or maybe it's social justice issues related to human slavery in the seafood industry or treatment of workers in slaughterhouses and co-packing facilities. It may be one reason or a combination of the above, but it will help solidify the buy-in. Next, play to your strengths when developing a new menu. As an example, working with the school canteen provider on plant-based options, we found the students were really interested in having burritos. So the staff were keen to support, but through the process, it became clear they weren't familiar with this type of food. Their expertise was more on Indian and Asian cuisines, and the final products were not reaching quality standards, and the company wasn't willing to upskill the workers. Thus, we pivoted and asked them to share the plant-based dishes they knew well, and then had students choose from that. The quality was much better, and there was more passion from the workers sharing the foods that matched their expertise and came from their culture. I'm a fan of SWOT analyses, but you can get similar results with less formal conversations, especially in a smaller business. It could be done independently too, but again, to build buy-in, getting others' input can be valuable. For example, in the strengths, you can survey what is most popular selling or what your business is best at. You may survey skills of employees, and in the course of that, discover someone has experience in plant-based food that you didn't know about. For weaknesses, you can list out what foods have done worse on the menu or any gaps in expertise that may exist. If you have the resources to invest in your chefs to get training to fill those gaps and help source some plant-based options for them to experiment with, it'll go a long way to helping them feel supported and enhance their motivation. It's important not to make this seem like one extra thing for everyone to do. Perhaps once you identify weak dishes, plan to remove them off the menu and replace them with the plant-based ones. That way your menu stays a similar size. Opportunities where you can look at the local context and see where your plant-based menu can gain attention. This could include surveying what other restaurants are doing in your area and trying to see what's popular and how you could innovate from that. Threats are obvious. Is there anything that anyone worries about that could derail the efforts in making the new plant-based menu popular? Of course, the goal of this is to plan to prevent any issues. You may remember at the start of the course was a link to your course toolkit. I put a template for the above in there so that you can type your SWOT analysis into it if you think that would be helpful. I would also suggest setting 2 goals, a menu goal and a sales goal. Goal setting is often a great motivator if done correctly. Your organization may have its own specific way of doing that, but if not, I suggest using SMART goals. S specific, M measurable, A achievable, R relevant, and T time bound. Let's look at a couple examples. Let's say you're a restaurant. I would suggest you have a minimum goal of modifying your menu so that you have 2 appetizers, 2 entrees, and 2 desserts that are 100% plant-based. And to make that time bound, you could use quarters, dates, months, things like that. So you'd modify those along the lines that are achievable and relevant for you. I also suggest having a sales goal, simply because as we know, something on a menu needs to sell well to be successful. So an example of a SMART goal would be to have our plant-based options make up 30% of sales within 3 months of their introduction. Or others may choose to have X number sold per day, or perhaps a dollar amount per week. Again, modify to your situation and try to make sure that it's achievable. For example, 30% there. If that seems too high, set something realistic. Another one I had success with was with a canteen, reducing animal products as part of the sustainability goals. In this, they had set a goal to decrease animal products ordered each week by 10% in the next quarter. This helped them focus on the frequency of their plant-based dishes and modify the composition of some dishes while still playing to their strength. If you are up for creating buy-in, here are some next steps, which I've also included as a list in the toolkit so you can organize the ones you want to do. You can decide if you want to start a committee. Do you want to discuss this at staff meetings? Or maybe you want to do this course together with colleagues so that you have a common understanding. Those are just some of the ideas to take what we discussed today and put them into action. The key point today is your menu will be more successful if everyone in your business has a common understanding of why plant-based food is important to the business and has input in creating goals and food that play to their strengths.